Infinite Dendrogram episode 3. So basically, we're introduced to this journalist called Melise Marissa Alter, and basically, she shows our main characters Ray, Nemesis, Arthur, and Babby a video basically showing how each of the PK killers were defeated. Well, more specifically in the south, west, and east. We'll talk about the north later. But basically, the first PK killer is taken out by Figaro, you know, the guy who is an expert duelist. And he is basically taken out because the PK killer, he's got all his friends killed, and so the Figaro wants the PK killer to surrender, and so the PK killer says, "Here, let's sign a contract." He signs it and then tricks Figaro and tries to trap Figaro and kill him. And Figaro basically takes his chains and snatches the guy up and sends the guy up into the air, and then with a chainsaw-like sword chops the guy in half. So that is brutal. The next one in the west, I think it is Fujio Toga. She is the priestess in the game of the Lunar Society, which is, according to the anime, is actually a religious sect in Japan. And basically she uses her control of the moon power to basically force choke her enemies, and then her followers stab the enemies to death. And she did this all because one of the PK killers killed one of her new recruits. So yeah, that's terrifying. And then what's interesting about this is that the two tenets of the religion, according to the anime, I have to stress, I don't know anything about this religion in real life, but according to the anime, the first tenet is remove yourself from the shackles of this world and go to the new world. So she thought that Dendro was the new world. And the second tenet is, once you're in the new world, live to your soul's content, do whatever your soul wants. So she's obviously doing that, so that makes for a terrifying person. Next in the east we have Farah, which her attack, she can basically touch someone and disintegrate them with like keys, sort of like how Overhaul in My Hero Academia can destroy someone with their touch. And the interesting thing about her is they mentioned that she likes to poison newbies with some sort of alcoholic drink. And as I mentioned in my episode 1 review, basically that's what happens in the light novel when Ray and Nemesis go to a party, they drink some juice, and they get a hangover. And it's really funny, and I just thought that was a nice little nod. Then basically, Marcy talks about how the PK killer in the north, the one that attacked Ray, basically the King of Destruction, one of the players we saw in the beginning of episode 2 in the shadows, basically used like a fire embryo to burn the Nas forest. And then after burning it, it turns out that the PK killer still is alive. And then Nemesis is like, good, I get a chance to take him out myself. And Ray is pretty happy about that, and so Ray and Nemesis go to the scene of the crime, and then Nemesis is walking around, and then she hits sort of like this invisible wall, but then goes through it, and Ray follows her and goes through it, and they meet the Cheshire Cat, the mascot, and he's like super surprised because players can't normally do that, but since he has a mating embryo or humanoid embryo, um, but basically those type of embryos are like the AI admins, as they contain some sort of secret code that allows them to interact. So that's interesting. And then we find out some interesting tidbits of how the game works as far as destroyed areas where Cheshire's job is to basically prepare the area for regrowth, but it won't fully regrow, like you'll still see battle scars. Kind of how the real life was that. Kind of how real life works with forest. You'll still see battle scars after a forest burns down, but you know, it'll grow down, it'll grow green from the destruction, So that's interesting. And then we find out about how, even though the admins aren't allowed to um, basically interfere with autonomous choices, the one exception to that is like if you're on a country's most wanted list, and you're defeated, you can be put in jail, tried, and either stay in jail for a very long time or be executed. And once you're executed, you're a free person again. But another thing about this is we know Titans can basically do whatever they want. So there are obviously Titan prisoners, and if they die and are executed, they're gone. So it's just a really interesting dynamic where if you commit a crime, you could be sent to jail for a very long time, and that destroys your gameplay. So that really gives us an it's not to do bad, which is really interesting. And so then we see Ray, Nemesis, and our friend Babby go to a restaurant, and they're trying to think about what quest they want to do, and Ray suggests a level 2 quest about where they just have to take goods from where they are now and to get in where they are going. And then what's really interesting is that Marcy decides to tag along as well since she's an experienced traveler. So now there's like 5 of them. And Nemesis mentions that on the road to Gideon, they could come across the Goblin King, the Orc King Granger. And so Ray is like, I don't want to do that, that could be too dangerous. But then lo and behold, we see, we pan over and we see like a group of adventurers getting attacked by goblins, and then a group of them escape, but only to run into Granger, and he's like 50 foot tall, and he destroys them. So episode 4 is probably going to be about a lot of fighting with Granger, and it was such a good episode. You had, I think, the most visually stunning fight scene. Well, it's a tie between Figaro when he was cutting the guy in half, and Fujua, the Lunar Society priestess. The way she turned the moon blue was just gorgeous. Another thing about Figaro is that when he would chain the guy up, because the guy had done him wrong, he went from the happy guy we know to almost like a psychopath. His eyes sort of got animalistic, and he enjoyed just slicing them in half. So don't mess with Figaro. So I wonder how Ray's going to defeat him in battle once they finally duel. So yeah, it was a good episode. There was a lot of action. Animation was okay to great at some areas. Music is, there wasn't hardly any music. I'd give this episode an 8 out of 10. And that's their prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for everything you give me, God. Lord, forgive me for all my sins. And just get lost away, and may lots of people subscribe, Lord. And may lots of people just like this video and have fun, Lord. And may I brighten people's day. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, bye guys and gals.